When Toni and Tristan took their 3 kids on the road, they didn't have a clear plan on how they would make money, but it didn't take them long to find the right fit for them. Now, as full-time caravan park managers, I sat down with them to discuss their experience in hopes to give you some insight into the world of caravan park management and how it might be a great way for you to top up your bank balance on the road. Hi Big Lap community, and welcome to another episode of Big Lap Business. Today I'm with Tristan and Toni from Price Family Adventures. Hey guys.
Hey, how you going?
Thanks for joining me. And I just got to comment on your background there because it's definitely much nicer than mine. So can you tell us where you are?
So at the moment we are on the edge of Lake Eildon, which is in the Victorian High Country. So it's really, really nice out here.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
So are you at a free camp there?
No, so we manage a caravan park. So we actually live on site. So this is our backdrop. This is our backyard basically.
Now that's pretty cool, and I reckon that's what a lot of people will want to know about today during our interview is how you get these contracts and how you go around sort of managing. We'll wait just a minute until we go into that, but first I want to get an idea for who you are, why you started your lap. So can you tell us about your family?
Yeah, so we have 3 children. We have Jackson, who's 8, Indy, who's 6, and Bella, who is 3. And yeah, we basically left in November 2019. Like everyone, got stuck with COVID, so ended up locking down in Brisbane with our family, and then headed back off again in May last year, and sort of just been tripping around. Doing our own thing. We basically kind of aren't doing the generic lap. We have kind of been here, there and everywhere, but in the process seeing a lot of things and ticking a lot of things off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what made you want to do the lap in the first place? Come on, Tristan, tell us.
I don't know. It was just change.
Yeah.
We just wanted a change in scenery, and yeah.
What did your life look like before you set off?
We had a landscaping business that Tristan basically ran. I was a nurse working in a hospital full time. Our kids were in daycare from 6 till 6 because we were all over the shop. We ended up having to have family come and move in with us to help us look after the kids because our work lives were just so chaotic, and we just didn't want that anymore. So we decided to make a change.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the story of many people who start the Big Lap, isn't it? They just sort of stuck in that corporate grind and not experiencing life as it should be, really. So good on you for getting out there. When you first went on your lap, when you first set off, what was your financial plan? Did you save money or did you plan to work?
We literally left with maybe, I think it was like $2,000 in our bank. That's all we had. We had a camp trailer. Anyone who's followed our journey from the beginning, we had like a soft floor camp trailer. And we managed to live in that thing for 3 weeks while we were living somewhere which was 40-degree heats in the middle of summer, in like rural Queensland. So it wasn't ideal.
And that would have been brutal.
It was not nice. And I was doing a nursing contract in a rural hospital there. And then we kind of got offered a house to move into, and while we were there, and we just took it up because it was way too hot. And sold our camp trailer and brought a caravan and started renovating it. So we literally have pretty much built ours up from the ground up. We sold all our belongings, all our household furniture, everything, and have a few containers worth of stuff at parents' house with like memorabilia stuff. And pretty much have that, whatever we have here.
So Tristan, what happened to your landscaping business?
We sold everything and closed it down, and
Was that hard to do?
Yeah.
It was something we had built up over a good 5 years, like self-built as well. We didn't buy a franchise or anything like that. We had done all the groundwork and everything ourselves, so it was a bit hard to give it up, but it was harder being away from the kids all the time and not getting to see them.
It's one of those things, isn't it? It's a benefit analysis as to what you're kind of doing. So when you sort of built your caravan, were you still you were doing this nursing contract, is that right?
Yeah, so we had driven like an 8-hour round trip to get this caravan. I think we got back about 15 minutes before I started work on a night shift that night. And I think the next day we just started stripping the whole caravan out because it was an older van. Stripped the whole insides out and just slowly started to build it up from there. And then, lived in that for a good almost year. Yeah.
So how long did the build take you?
Well, we probably smashed it out in about 3 months because we had come back to Brisbane to do a few of the final things that we couldn't do where we were. And we ended up smashing it out and then getting locked down with COVID. So it could have actually taken longer. But we didn't realise, no one knew that it was coming. So we kind of had to rush it.
Yeah, exactly. And how's that been for you as a nurse, and especially sort of doing these rural contracts? Has COVID affected you and how you get work now?
No, if anything, it's easier to get work. So we were in Yeppoon for 4 months and I was doing a nursing contract there as well, just doing COVID clinic. So doing all the COVID testing, etc. for that. So it was different. It's a different line of work.
Yeah.
But I obviously don't do nursing anymore. We've gone with a different avenue now because we were still finding that, we weren't together. We weren't getting to do what we actually left to do. And so at least this way we get to spend a lot more time together and we're working together.
Absolutely. And, I think that's a trap that a lot of people fall into, isn't it? When they go on their big lap and they think, okay, well, we're going to work, but then it just reverts back to, okay, well, we're finding work and we're just somewhere else doing what we were, what we were doing. So how did you make that change and sort of what was the catalyst for saying, okay, well, we're going to find work managing caravan parks?
We were lucky to take, while we were in Ukraine, save a heap of money and get the ability to actually go and spend, I think we spent about 3 months on the road traveling around. And we were actually on our way to Cairns, and we were meant to be in Cairns like February this year. And we were going to do a nursing contract at the hospital. So we were just on our way there. We've seen an ad on Facebook of someone wanting a park manager up in Bowen or someone to caretake for a couple of weeks, and we put our hand up and was like, yep, let's do it, let's give it a try. And we went. It wasn't a big fancy park, it was a backpackers park, but it gave us that time to go, actually we could probably do this on a bigger scale. We both have like a business background and stuff like that, so it could help. And then where we are now, it came up an ad again on Facebook, looking for managers, and we were like, let's do it. Interviewed, and like we had no prior caravan park experience, but luckily the owner of this park here is pretty amazing, and he just was happy to take us on.
Because I was going to ask about experience, because a lot of people, I think if the accommodation is the biggest expense, right? So I'm assuming that when you're working as caravan park managers, you're not paying for accommodation. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So we live on site. So we have a house here that we live on site right off the office. And I guess that it goes part and parcel. You probably do longer hours. And your hours aren't sort of your 9 to 5 type thing. It's kind of all over the place, but we are here as well.
Yeah. What kind of sort of length of contract do you get, and how long do these park managers or park owners expect you to stay?
No, you don't.
I feel like there's a story here.
No. So, it just depends. So relief work generally it's like a month or two, just depending on what the current managers at that park want to have off. Whereas here we've come here to be full-time managers, so we're actually here for kind of however long we want to be. We have initially signed up to a year, but in our own thing, because in the past we haven't had a lot of financial backing, like we weren't fortunate enough to have a house to sell to fund our travels. We have to build ourselves up. So we have a few goals we want to keep before we leave here. So we'll just pretty much stay until we've had enough. In saying that, where we are, it's like it gives us the ability to get out and see things, and go check out different places and do different things. And still get to travel, but we kind of have a home base, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it looks like a beautiful place to have your home base as. So yeah, it looks awesome there. What have been the things that have surprised you or that you've learned about living and working at a caravan park?
I don't know. There's nothing. Well, we've been in parks for the past year, so I don't know. I don't really think a lot of things have surprised us. It's all kind of the stuff we knew already, but it's just we're on the other side of it. Yeah. So we're the ones that are dealing, you know, with the people and having those conversations. And, you know, we've been to parks before where, you know, the park managers aren't very nice, or, you know, they come across and they're rude or like, you know, whatever. And so we definitely make sure we're not like that. Even if we have someone that is an unhappy person, we go over and above to make sure that they're happy by the end before they go home.
Absolutely. So for the people who are thinking about going down this route when they do their big lap, how do you go about finding this work?
So there is Facebook pages out there that like park managers or park owners, etc., will post jobs onto, and that's how we found these ones. So we just posted saying, look, you know, we want to get into park managing, we have no experience, you know, or like we don't have any specific caravan park experience, but we have, you know, other lines of expertise. And yeah, we got told about this one and interviewed, and yeah, just went from there.
Awesome. It surprises me that you know, you were able to get this job without any experience, because I assume that these jobs would be highly sought after. So what do you think you did to get this job, and how do you think you convinced the owners that you were the right people for the job?
We were just pretty upfront. Like we just told him basically who we were, what we do. Had a very in-depth, it was quite long, wasn't it? Interview. We had a video call with him, had a phone call with him. And I think just from what he's told us, just from, you know, the conversations that he's had with us, he could tell, you know, that we had the right attitude. You know, you need the right attitude to be in this position. You need to be able to be approachable and, you know, think on your feet and do all those things. And obviously he could see that in us with our past experience. And so he was happy to teach us the software and teach us the stuff that we needed to know to be able to do our jobs, because we pretty much kind of had the foundation to do the other side of it. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's definitely a good tip, the attitude to, and this kind of applies to any job, right? If you've got the right attitude to learn it, then, you know, you can do it. And exactly. It's funny because I was talking to, I can't remember who it was. I was talking to somebody the other day on an interview like this, and they said the biggest thing is being flexible. So would you agree with that?
Yeah. Definitely. You know, we have days where we might have a plan on what we want to do, and then turns around and we end up having to do 3 hours of clearing a septic tank and not getting anything else done. So you have to be willing to be able to be flexible in that mood, but also flexible in where you go, because it might not always be jobs going. You know, as I said, we were in Far North Queensland when we got this job, and it was in the midst of, you know, COVID going ravage in Sydney and everything, and we pretty much hightailed it 28 hours straight down here. So
wow.
So, you know.
So what does a day in the life of a caravan park caretaker look like, or management couple? Do they call them management couples now?
I don't know. You get so many different names.
Well, that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah. Pretty much, like, it's just your basics. So to get up, you like, we check emails and stuff, and then we come out to the park. Depending on what day it is, we may go and clean cabins, or we may come and do garden work. The other day we were putting in speed humps,
rubbish runs.
Rubbish runs.
Stuff.
Like, just, it really is, you need to be able to see something and go, I can fix that. You know, that doesn't look okay. Maybe I need to do better. So yeah, it's really being able to think on your feet. Absolutely. But we have just literally posted a video this morning. So we actually have been making, or starting to make, a little day in the life of a park manager little series. They're little short, sort of 2-3 minute videos, and just a little snippet of what we get up to. to show people, because we've had a lot of people ask us, you know, what
Yeah,
to do.
absolutely. I think it's one of those things that's super interesting because, you know, people stay at these caravan parks all the time. They're always interacting with the management, and sort of being on the other side of that, it's kind of interesting to see what it looks like. Has it taken anything away from you in terms of your enjoyment of what you're doing? Obviously, you know, you're more sort of stationary now, and you will be for, you know, a year or whatever it is. But do you feel like you've gone back to the corporate grind, or does it feel different?
Nah.
Not really, because we're still doing everything, you know, like we get days off, so on our days off we go away and we get to adventure. When we're here, you know, we're out talking to people and we get the kids involved, so you know, the kids come and help us chop up timber, or you know, when they're home, if they're home while we're cleaning, they'll come and help us clean the bathrooms. You know, Bella, our 3-year-old, is generally with us like all the time, so she'll sit at the front desk, and as when someone walks in the front door, she'll say, hey, how can I help you? So it's actually, I don't know, I think it's so much better because the kids actually get involved.
It seems like a whole family affair.
It is. I mean, the older two aren't with us all the time. While we're stopped, they go like to a mainstream school instead of us homeschooling, just to take a little bit off us. But that's actually working out really well for them too, because it's giving them a chance to sort of, you know, catch up and make friends and kind of get settled for a little bit.
Absolutely. Do you ever worry you're going to get stuck? You're not going to move on?
No, we'll move on.
Fine. Look, it is probably, I think the hardest thing for me is I've got the travel bug. So, you know, we've been here 7 weeks now. We've been here 7 weeks and we're getting itchy feet going, okay, like we need to go away and do something for a night, or get away from the park for a couple of nights so that we can, you know, feel like we're still traveling without actually traveling full time.
Yeah, absolutely. Where's home for you?
Brisbane.
Okay, so at least you're somewhere that you can explore, and you know, it's not really home for you. It's a new experience still, which is cool.
So prior to this, we had never been to Victoria.
Yeah, right.
So we had never really been out of Queensland. We had gone to sort of Newcastle, I think, once. That was about it. So this is completely different territory for us.
Yeah, right. What do you think you prefer more, the relief work or the stuff you're doing now? Because I know you've only been there 7 weeks, but you mentioned it already, getting itchy feet, and the relief work obviously gives you more sort of flexibility to move on quicker.
I don't know. I like this. I think I like being in somewhere a bit longer. I do. Do you prefer?
Yeah, you get to explore a bit more.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've done the different types. Done the different types of travel. We've done the travel where we've stopped in one place for a period of time. We've done the travel where we were moving around every few days to a week. We very much prefer this type of where we're stopping for a period of time and exploring the local area, and because you really get to then immerse yourself into the community, and then after a while, then you get to move on.
Absolutely. Do you ever sort of scout out caravan parks that you think, oh, they look amazing, I really want to be the manager of that one? Do you ever do that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No. I haven't yet. WA is our pinnacle. Like, that's where we want to go when we eventually leave Victoria, as we want to make our way to WA. I think that's everyone's pinnacle.
Absolutely.
So I think eventually, you know, we'll go over there and we'll hopefully even do caravan park managing over there, or whatever. Really experience WA.
Have you gotten any into any hairy situations or funny stories about guests or anything like that you've had?
I'm just trying to think. No. You get situations where you want to be like, oh, come on, like camping, like you've got to understand that these things are going to happen to you while you're camping.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't say that, unfortunately.
You got to put your management hat on.
You got to put your hat on, your professional hat, and go, oh, that, you know, that's a really sucky situation. Like, let's do something about it, instead of going, seriously, wake up to yourself. Come on, like. If you're camping, you need to know that these things are going to happen.
Absolutely, 100%. So what does the future look like? Will you continue sort of managing caravan parks, or have you got a different plan?
I don't know. I think we'll always do this for fun. Like,
Yeah.
you know, no matter what happens to us in life, I think we'll always caravan park manage to some degree. I guess like everyone, we would love to be able to travel full time, but you know, we're not there yet. So
what's the hardest thing about managing it? And then on the flip side of that, what's the best thing about managing the park?
the hardest thing for us at the moment is dealing with septic.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound pleasant.
No.
It's not at all. The best thing I think is some of the relationships we've built with some of, like, you know, we have annuals that have holiday homes here, and so we've been able to build some really cool relationships with some of them, and even some of our campers.
Yeah.
You know, we had a family that were locked down here with us over the last 5-day lockdown that Victoria had. And so they ended up being here for 10 days. And during that 10 days, we ended up getting out on a ski boat with them. And like our kids were playing together all the time. And yeah, just building really good friendships.
Well, that's nice. Now, we're going to wrap it up in a minute. But before we go, I just want to ask you one last question. What advice would you give for anybody wanting to sort of go into this type of work?
Just do it. It's kind of my advice for everything. It's just do it, you know. You think you might not have the experience, but just, you know, put your name out there or put your word out there. Even if you've got to enter in as like kind of like an entry level, you know, a cleaner or an admin person or something for a little bit, just to learn, you know, the stuff that you need to learn. But there is owners and park owners out there that are willing to help, like teach you. As I said, if you have the right attitude.
You don't know unless you try.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a good point as well, talking about, you know, maybe having to get sort of a smaller role before you go into that park management role. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing your big lap, a lot of people, you know, we don't always stay at caravan parks, but when you are, you could just ask the reception, right? Ask to have a couple of hours experience or something like that. And, you know, any experience will stand you in good stead in the end, won't it?
Work for free, you know, put your hand up, be like, hey, look, can I just come in and watch for a couple of hours and see how it goes? You know, I'm interested in doing this while we're traveling. Yeah, but definitely having that sort of can-do attitude. Like, you just need to be able to see things and get out and just do it. You know, be willing to work your ass off, basically.
Awesome. All right, Tristan and Toni, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to put a link to your Instagram and your website in the show notes for this episode, and especially so people can go and see that day in the life of what it's like to be caravan park managers. I'm actually going to go look at that myself because I'm quite interested in that. But until next time,
you'll see him dancing.
Oh, well, I'm definitely going and watching now then. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see you again soon.
See you later.
See ya.
So, what do you think? Is the caravan park management life for you? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, subscribe, like, and share.